Let's get to the heart of the matter from your point of view. Tell us what happened to you briefly and how you came to be dismissed as a nun after 10 years as a Reverend Sister.
Yeah, I joined the congregation of Mother of Perpetual Help of the Archangel Sisters in 2015. And in 2017, I was professed, and in 2023, I was finally professed. And after that, I experienced so many challenges. Of course, as a human person, your life cannot just be a bed of roses. And I had always confided in my Superior General and my bishop. But the issue has always been that I was always complaining, according to them, whereas what I sought was clarity. And
yeah, but what were you complaining to them about?
About our relationship with the priests in the diocese.
And what was that relation? What were you telling them about that relationship? So
I reported to my superior. I spoke to her about a priest who I was living in the same compound with.
Where was this?
In the community where I was in Auchi.
Right, that's in Edo State.
Yes.
Right.
So I told her that on a fateful day, I went into his room and he tried to touch me, and I don't just understand if this is a norm, you know, if it's a normal thing. And she just told me to just.
Was that the first time it had ever happened to you?
That wasn't the first time.
Right.
Yes, there was a priest in 2016. She said I should go with him in his car to his parish for a week, and I felt that shouldn't happen. And another priest, he put his belt on my waist, trying to check the size of the cloth he would get me when I visit him, and that broke me. It gave me a lot of trauma in 2016, which is what they term madness in 2016.
Right. And you reported this harassment?
I did.
What was their reaction?
It was normal, nothing, no case.
Yeah, but what did they say to you?
More like, am I not an adult?
In other words, that what was happening did not negate the very principles of Catholicism, the vows that you had taken, but that they took it in their stride.
They
Is that
didn't
what you're
make
saying?
it seem like it was a problem.
Right. It sounded like it was a fairly normal thing.
Exactly.
Right. And then you've now, how did all this connect you to Veritas University?
Now, this was on my second, what I call missionary journey, when I returned to the congregation after they gave me a 3-month suspension. This suspension came after I wrote to the bishop about things that were happening. I think I wrote to him about 13-page a letter with so many things that I just poured out my heart. I titled it A Letter to My Loving Father. So when I said all of that to him, he said he was not happy with me, and I started hearing things from sisters that I insulted the bishop.
Well, wait a minute. This letter preceded the sexual harassment allegation. In other words, it came before you then.
This was before I was, I went on suspension by the congregation. Okay, I wrote that letter complaining of so many things that was happening, and in that letter I said we sisters are placed under priests. Like my letter of posting from 2022 when I graduated from the university did not carry any position I was to work. Okay, you've been transferred or assigned to work in this place as what? Which means the priest would have used me for anything. So I complained to the bishop. And he called the priest, and the priest told him a lot of things. And the bishop said, I would just go and be writing. He never called the priest, nor called me to sort it out.
Right.
The same year, a sister said I was using jazz juju on the bishop. I reported the issue to him. I sent the voice record of the conversation I had with her to him. So all of that made me uncomfortable, and I couldn't run to him when, upon returning to Veritas University for my master's, I was harassed by the head of department. I couldn't trust him.
Right. Well, look, there are a lot of things that you're telling us here, and it's difficult for people to get their heads around it because it's going from one thought to the other. Let's just focus on the biggest allegation that you have made at Veritas University. How did that come about?
When I came to the university, I applied to work as a graduate assistant. I told the superior, because when I brought the letter that I needed to go for masters, the bishop said he had no money. So I told the superior that I could get a work, I could get employed while I do my masters. So she agreed to that, gave me a letter to that effect, and I left to do my masters in Veritas. So I took the letter to the software engineering department, the head of the department. So he told me to write the letter of seeking employment. And then he said I should take it to the vice chancellor. I told him that a classmate of mine said his head of department went with him and it helped him to get the employment. So could you please come with me, because I really need to get this employment so I can pay my fees. And he said, okay, and he went with me to the vice chancellor's office. Upon our return, he said I should come with him to his private office. And that was when he came at me and tried to kiss me and held my body. And it was very terrible. I couldn't react. I froze. And afterwards, I spoke to some staff and some colleagues. I got the employment quite okay. But I started, being fearful of him and avoiding him. And
you reported this to the authorities?
Yes, I did.
You appeared before a panel?
I went to the chief medical director of the university. That was in December, and I told him my head of department was harassing me. And he said I should come to him if he does it again. So I felt that was not okay. So I didn't come to him when he did, harass me other times. So I reported to the university because a student of mine in 200 levels said the head of department tried to touch his classmate inappropriately. As a mother, even though I'm a sister and not married, that instinct is there, and I felt that this has to be reported. So I sought evidence and reported it to the university. They called me to a panel and tried to pressure me into giving up the case.
Right, so that was how they responded to your allegation?
Yes, that he is a key...
Was there any attempt to investigate it?
I have not seen that, So they took me to the vice chancellor's office.
But you said you've got some evidence.
Yes.
Did you submit that to them?
I did show them. So they called him. They called the HOD.
Right.
And he said nothing like that happened. That nothing like that happened. So they played the evidence, and he said, oh, now I can see that she's clearly trying to set me up. And they asked me to step out. When I stepped out, I heard them laughing. And when I came back in, I had to press the record to record whatever they were doing. I felt really, really disturbed. And they took me to the vice chancellor, who said that if I insist that a panel should be set up, that I will have to prove where in my letter I had said that such cases were reported and the university did not handle it. And I felt that the burden of proof was being, shifted to me, who is reporting the incident, rather than the person who abused me.
Right. Well, in all fairness, they have to investigate both sides. It's not fair on someone for allegations to be made against them because it affects their reputation, whilst at the same time, it is not fair on you that the allegations you're making are not properly investigated. But let me just make it clear that the university, Veritas, has denied the charges that you laid against them. And in the best interests of journalism here on Arise News, Veritas University, as well as her congregation of sisters, have a right of reply.